one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it because you can.
This story comes to us from NBC4. The Ohio Supreme Court has ruled that police officers' identities can be withheld from public records when they are attacked on the job under a state law that protects the privacy of crime victims. They have to be a crime victim. Last Tuesday's ruling stems from a lawsuit by the Columbus Dispatch against the Columbus Division of Police in October of 2023. The newspaper sought to compel the police department to release unredacted body camera footage that would have identified two officers who were shot at by a robbery suspect on Interstate 70 in July of 2023. During that incident, one of the officers was shot 5 times but ultimately survived. After the suspect began walking toward the second officer, the two officers and additional arriving personnel opened fire, killing the suspect. The Dispatch newspaper requested all body and dash camera footage from the incident. The police department subsequently released redacted footage that concealed the identities of the two officers. Columbus police cited the state's victim privacy law, which allows government agencies to exempt identifying information about crime victims from public records. The Ohio legislature enacted the measure in 2023 as a revision to Marcy's law, a constitutional amendment passed by Ohio voters in 2017 that granted crime victims specific rights, such as being informed about defendants' court proceedings. The Dispatch newspaper insisted it was entitled to the unredacted footage and filed the lawsuit, contending that police officers performing their public duties cannot be classified as victims under Marcy's law. The Ohio Supreme Court disagreed. Writing for the court majority, Justice Patrick DeWine explained that Marcy's law provides a definition of a victim, which includes anyone who is directly harmed by a criminal offense. He said, applying the plain text of the amendment, we have no difficulty concluding that an ordinary understanding of Marcy's law's definition of victim encompasses the officers in this case. Now, while the Ohio Supreme Court ruling applies specifically to the two officers involved in the 2023 shootout, it could set a precedent for similar issues that come before the court in the future. Ohio police departments regularly cite Marcy's law when redacting officers' identities in public records requests. For example, the Blendon Township Police Department blurred the face of Connor Grubb, the police officer who fatally shot Takaya Young in a Kroger parking lot in August of 2023, when it released body camera footage of the incident. Grubb was standing in front of Young's car when she began to pull out of a parking spot and bumped into him. The department maintained this was an assault. I'm going there, making Grubb a protected victim under Marcy's law. Grubb was later identified when he was charged with murder and other offenses in Young's death. He was acquitted of all charges. Of course, he's a cop. And all the charges that were brought against him on November 21st of that year. Joining DeWine in the High Court's majority opinion was Chief Justice Sharon Kennedy, along with Justices Joseph Dieters, Daniel Hawkins, and Megan Shanahan. Listen to those names, voters. Justices Patrick Fisher and Jennifer Brunner wrote separate opinions, concurring in part and dissenting in part. Fisher agreed that identifying information about the two officers on the scene could be redacted. However, he noted the city has not revealed the identities of 6 other officers involved in the incident who were not shot at, and stated that he would like to release additional recordings to the Dispatch newspaper. Now, Brunner, the court's lone Democrat, contended that while she agrees police officers may be victims under Marcy's law, the majority opinion unconstitutionally applied the statute. She argued that officers who are on duty in public do not have an expectation of privacy, and that the public's constitutional right to access government records outweighs the officer's rights to keep their identities concealed. In the state of California, per the Post Policy Handbook, an officer must be identifiable while on duty. The California Security Guards Handbook says the same thing. So here's what we got. Get to two things and I'm done real quick. Hold with me. The first thing is this Marcy's law. Now, every cop, they make an arrest. Let's say the cop violates the guy's rights and starts beating a handcuffed suspect and then smashes his hand on the concrete and gets a big cut or a gray with blood all over his hand. And he's going to go, I'm a victim of assault. The guy assaulted me. Look, you got to hide my identity. Now, every time a cop gets a scratch or a bump, he's going to go, he assaulted me. I'm a victim of assault. Yeah, because that's what cops do. They use every little excuse they can. They fabricate stuff. Are you kidding me? And then the other thing, on the identifiable thing, yes, the Post Policy Handbook in California states that cops must have somewhere an identifiable piece of information that identifies them as a police officer. Name, badge number, something. And security guards is the same. You security guards, under the Security Guard Handbook, I looked it up because in Rancho Cucamonga, I did that First Amendment audit and the security guard came out and I said, you don't have any, what's your name? Well, I'm telling you my name. You don't have it on you. That's a violation of the Security Guard Handbook. Well, at that time, I don't think they've changed it since. It was only a few years ago. But a security guard also must have a nameplate or badge number for his security badge or something that says, this is me. I'm securing this place. Yeah, you can't just be some dude out there being a security guard. You got the same rules as cops. We got to be able to say, okay, you're okay. These cops in Ohio, they're using this Marcy's law. Well, I'm a victim too. He shot at me, but the bullet missed. Yeah.